I am, this is you, so I'll just open it up again. So let's just do, I'm just gonna do Command Space for Mac, Xcode, opens right up, new project, right? And then you're gonna go to Application, and you're gonna hit Next. And this I'm just gonna do, let's do, all right, so this is important. So we don't wanna make it something random. This is a tutorial, but we're doing a crash course, okay? So let's just start with, let's say, I liked the idea of a card game. So let's do Cardtopia, right? That could be fun. You can include tests. We don't really need it. Core data you don't need, but you're gonna want the team you don't care about, organization identifier, it's fine. You can leave it as whatever it is. Swift UI, that's what you want, and language is Swift. We're gonna hit next. I'm just going to, yeah, this is a good place to put it. We're not gonna worry about Git, but you can initialize Git. So on this side now, you'll see this is a structure that produces this image right here. And this is the structure containing the view. See on the left, it says content view. So the way that I've always done this is kind of like a library book relationship, right? So, or like a card deck relationship. The best way to do it is to have some home base for your instances, right? So if you're making a bunch of instances of like a book, a card, or it's just easier to explain the model relationship because there's something about those kinds of things, those kinds of like physical things that translate really well into becoming models. So a model, it's not some programmer term. It is now because we've made it into something, but basically it is what it is, right? It's modeling something physical, right? Can you guys all see my screen? So we're going to be modeling cards, right? So what I had initially made was a card game that you can have assets and it has images and all that. We don't need to get into that if we don't want to. I just wanted to just start building an app. This is all from scratch, and this is what is possible when you get a good grip on Swift. It's not going to be, release worthy, but this is the basis that you guys, I want you guys to get from this. We're only really going to be focusing on this file, and files that we create. So we're going to create a folder, new group, from selection. Let's call this view. And then we're going to make a new file. And it's going to be a Swift file because we're going to work on our model. And you can say model, but I know that we're building a card, and I know that our model, our home base, we want to be a deck. So I'm just going to say deck, right? So that's our model right here. So this deck is going to be our model. Sorry, new group of selection, model. So this is this file is part of modeling, taking from the physical world into the programmatical world, the deck. All right. So, and the way that this is, so a model is a class, and we're going to call it deck. And just to get ahead of ourselves, we're going to make it, you guys are not going to know what this is. This is a crash course, so I'm just going to tell you what to do, and then we can explain it as we go along. Observable object, okay? And Swift uses curly braces. So what you're doing here is you're initializing, this is the class keyword, so the compiler knows that this deck is a class. This is a colon to show that this deck conforms to these protocols. A protocol, for those of you who are in Java, is an abstract class essentially. It is it has a lot more functionality in Swift, but basically if you just like alt click on this, it gives you a little pop-up. It is a so it allows, I thought it would say protocol in here, but yeah, so it allows, maybe if I click on this, yeah, here we go, protocol. Observable object, it allows change, right? So yeah, here we go. Published properties can be changed in the class. So what that means is if we want something to change or we want to look at something from this, we have to, if we want to view something is what I'm saying, from this class, we have to be able to add another thing that is new, which is a wrapper, a published property wrapper. So published, we're going to add a published variable. So you have to specify var in front of variables to have them be variable. You can say let, so there's another thing. Let is another variable declaration, but it means it won't change. But since we're adding a variable that does change, var, and then we're going to make a deck, right? So we have we're gonna make cards. We have our deck, but a deck has to store cards. So the idea of going through a model and creating a model, this is a very simple implementation, but you want to say to yourself, what does a deck have? I want a deck of cards to be in my game, to be in my app. What does a deck have? It has cards. Maybe it has a name. Maybe it has a year created. You know, does it have something interesting? Like, does it have like, maybe you're making a game that has multiple kinds of cards. Maybe it has, you have to have like a type of card, right? So it would be a card type. You guys are allowed to comment and also raise your hand if you guys are lost. And I can have you guys be able to speak if you want. But if you guys don't raise your hand, I'll just continue. So you can raise your hand now if you're confused. Okay. Let me go to participants. Hello. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can speak if you'd like.
Yeah, sorry. Can you just say one more time what the publish keyword does?
Okay. So thank you for asking. What we're going to be doing is this class has to be able to speak with these views in this folder. And the only way for the class to be able to be modified by the view is with the published property wrapper. So this is an incomplete variable declaration, so I'm just going to finish that. But we can remove this later and see what would happen without the property wrapper. But it just allows you to modify the published variables in the class from the view, which is an important distinction because you can do it.
It's almost like a public statement.
It's almost like a public statement. So yes, but the relationship between views and models are more rigid than you would be allowed with just a public statement. Are you saying like from Java?
Yeah, not really a specific language, but in general, it just means you can access anywhere.
Yeah, so these can also be accessed. It's just about modifying.
Okay.
So it's already public. It's just the views themselves are, huh?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It could be modified anywhere.
Yeah, well, they can already be modified anywhere except for views. But with the published, now they can be modified by views.
Got it. Thank you.
And then structs are immutable. That's something that we can get to later on. So you have to have something else. Okay. So we're going to make a cards, right? So this is the type. This is the name, published variable cards. And something about Swift is it has explicit type. It doesn't have implicit type declarations or type coercions. So we're just going to straight up. So this colon here, it's a little bit confusing, but it's different from this one. Since this is a variable, this one just says, okay, this variable of the name cards, which is published, has a type cards, right? And we don't have that yet. We're going to make that right now. So let's make another model, and we're going to call this card. So we're going to make this one a structure. So the way that I always liked to do this in Swift is you make a model, you make a class which instantiates structs, and that's how you can get your model across. Sarvanan, yeah, this will be recorded. Cool. So now we have to repeat the same process. What does a card have? So I don't know where to take this, guys. Let me know. Raise your hand if you want this, if you want to input what a card has, like what kinds of things a card has. I'm going to answer this question real quick. So what is the relationship between relationship of model and struct? So these are all the model. The model is anything. The model is anything that models what you're making or that has data from somewhere. Later on, you can use things like core data or a backend. The struct is part of the model, but the struct is something that can be instantiated. So we're making an array of these structures, of these cards, into a structure called cards, which is a member of the deck class. And that is the relationship. They are, they can communicate. And yeah, it can be, you can call this is below, I would say, or below and almost parallel to this deck structure or this deck class. Okay, so if no one wants to contribute the models, so I'm just gonna go with a classic card game, right? So like, let's go with, nah, you know what? Let's just make it fun. Let's go with like Magic the Gathering type card game. Okay, so and we can find some images somewhere and maybe we can do something like that. Okay, so let's call this, these are going to be the members of the struct. So we're just going to go var. We don't need to add published or anything. But these also can, these are kind of going to have to conform to like identifiable. That could be one. These are, I'm just going to leave that there. These are things that are going to be coming up later on when we try and manipulate these cards. I spelled it wrong, probably. We'll just leave it. Okay, so var name, and that can be a string. I don't think I need that. I was doing C earlier today, so I'm a little bit. So var name string, var type. Cool. Let's make a type. Let's do that in a sec. This doesn't exist, but we'll make it with an enum. And then var, let's say attack. And that could be an int. And var defense. Oh my gosh, is it fence like fence, or is it fence like SE? Let's just do fence like that, defense. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm putting semicolons when I shouldn't be. So you don't need the semicolons, my bad guys. So name, type, attack. Oh yeah, type, can't see that. Don't worry, we'll fix that. Attack, defense, and what else would be cool? So we've got the type. That would be like a color or something, like grass or something. Oh, maybe like subtype var, or like species. And we can make that a string also. Okay. Or let's make this a color so we can get into UI color. So I know you guys are wanting to know more about that. So if you import UI color, or not UI color, Swift UI. UI color is the old one. Swift UI is the new one. So if you import Swift UI, now it knows what color is now this file. And then we'll make this into a type. So it's nice in Swift. You guys are going to be making, doing a lot of short files just so that you can keep your head together. It's not like another language where you might have super long files with really long declarations. It's nice to keep it short in this. Okay, So this still is complaining even though we have cards, but it's because we didn't make the type alias, which is something that I always like to do when it's something like this, because we're really being honest, or not honest, what's the word? We're just communicating very well, right? So we know it's an array of type card, but that's cards to me. So I want to make it cards. So cards type is card, is array of type card. And now it should be fine. Yeah, so it doesn't have any initializers. Let's take care of this first, and then we can go back to the type numeration. So we are going to be creating an init function. So we initialize cards. So let's just make cards equal to nothing, and that should be fine now. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that should be fine. Okay, we can make you can actually make functions in here too. I think this is, let's make this type species. I think it was not complaining because there's a type already. So let's create an enumeration. It's going to be another model, Swift, and let's do species. Okay. So this is enumeration, so you can just do enum species, and we're going to do case. And what species do you guys like? Raise your hand if you want to say a species. So close. Oh, cool. What's the species? You can unmute if you like. Rishi. Okay, Rishi, you can speak. You just have to unmute yourself. Okay. I guess we're just gonna continue. Rishi, if you want to speak, just unmute, and yeah, we can hear it. Does anyone else have questions? I can answer those now too if you want. Raise your hand if you have a question. All right, then we're just going to continue. All right, cool. So species, I like axolotls. You guys, do you guys know what those are? Those are cool. And I also like hamsters. And I also like pigeons. Do you spell them P-I-D-G? Pigeons? I forget. Let's just do that. I think it's G. Let's just do, yeah, that sounds nice. Okay, so here, these are our species. All right, so they might be a little bit hard to reference later on, but now the card has a var of type species. Like if you just did that, it would complain. Yeah, see, it doesn't recognize, but if we add it, it knows that there's a type of species. Okay, so we're going to create a function within our class that is going to be an add card function. Or you know what, let's just yeah, let's do an add card function. That would be nice. So I think it's just add card, or it's func, yeah. Add card. And all we're gonna need is we're gonna need the members of the card struct. So these, and let me just open it up on the side. You can open up another view on the side with that. And add card, we're gonna do string. So this is how you do parameters, right? It's just same as any other language. Oh, actually, I did a flip. So it's name string, and then type. Oh, we're gonna need to add the other UR color, or Swift UI in here too. Species attack int. Okay. And just close this. Can I find color? Yep. So Y. All right. So we got our add card. And what we can do here is we're going to make a new card by just doing card. And then this is a nice thing about Swift. It has really good linting, I guess you could call it, but it just gives you really great suggestions. So if you just go and if you guys are still doing the same thing, if you type card and then do open parenthesis, it'll show you everything right here. Sorry, a little bit dry mouth over here. So the name would be name. The color would be color. Type, sorry. Species would be species. Attack would be attack. It seems like we're doing nothing here, but what we're doing is we're passing in this parameter into this function or this instantiation of the class. So we're actually doing something here, don't worry. And then we can call this, yeah, it's not being used, but what we're going to do is we're going to do cards and this card. Okay. So, and what we can do now is in here, we can start starting to create our cards. So let me just copy and paste this. So we got this. This is allowed. But yeah, so let's make a card. One of every type, right? So we've got axolotl. We can do that. Lottie, axolotl. That could be the name of that. The type would be dot. Oh, that's a color, right? So let's do cyan. Do we have that? Let's see. Can I find attack? Yeah, that works. Okay. Species is dot axolotl. So how to reference the enum is with a dot because it's saying to itself species dot axolotl, but that can be shortened into just axolotl. Attack, just do 1. Defense can be 2. Normal axolotl. These let's just keep on going with this. I tried to do command space or command C. There we go. Command C. We have what's the other species we got? Hamster. Hampy. All right. We're going. Cyan. Let's make this one magenta. And so we've got reptiles. We got the reptiles. Oh, it doesn't have cyan or magenta. Bummer. Okay, I thought we could do that. How did I do that before? So let's try adding to our assets. So if you go to the left, click on assets.xc assets, you can actually add special colors. So we're gonna do that right here. Color set. So if you click on this plus down here and you click on color set, you can, we only have one color set. So let's just name this cyan. And let's change the color to be, oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted just cyan. Here we go. Yeah, so that's cyan, dark and light, same difference. New color set, and we'll make this one magenta. And then another one, color set, any appearance. We'll make this one yellow. Actually, I think it already has yellow, but we're doing it our way. Yellow. I did this in another thing, so let me just open that up real quick. Splard CMY. So this is this is what we're building really. I just want to give you guys a taste. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the thing that I liked. App colors. Yeah. So this is what we're going to be doing. These are the assets that we just created, yellow, magenta, and cyan. It just knows because those are in our folder. And color is converting them to color, to type color from a color set, or from a image, or yeah, color set from our assets. And this is an extension of color, which is something. So that's another cool thing about Swift is, so you have all these classes and you have all these protocols and they do a certain thing. But if you want to wrap your new functionality very neatly into the old functionality, you can do that by writing an extension. So color exists, but it doesn't have cyan and it doesn't have magenta. It does have yellow, but it doesn't have our yellow. So what this is doing is it's giving you the same functionality in the same exact way as you would any other color, except they're your colors. And that's very convenient. Like it could be something like yellow 4 or yellow 250 or 260, right? That could be like a special yellow that has the yellow increment of 260, right? That's like any specific thing you want. It can even be hex values, right? But let's go on from there. I'm just gonna copy and paste this. Don't think twice about it. Don't even worry about it. Okay, so we're gonna go to the model and we're gonna do Swift app colors and good old copy and paste. Okay, so now we have our app colors. We can go into our deck and we should be able to do cyan and magenta. Boom. And we have one more that we wanted to make. And it's a Pidgey, so let's call it Pid. We can't copy everything from Pokemon. And we wanted this one to be yellow. Okay. And the species here needs to change too. So this was a hamster. This one is a pigeon. And so I think pigeons would have more attack and less defense. And I think hamsters would have less attack and more defense. Just speaking from experience here. Get rid of the comma. So now we have a deck so far. We've got a good deck going. Let's start working on the views. Let's start doing that. I'm gonna take a minute. We only have 12 people, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Raise your hand now if you guys would like to ask a question. Okay, can I ask you guys a question? Are you guys are you guys following along, or are you guys just listening?
Yeah, just listening.
Just listening? Okay. If anyone is following along, raise your hand. I just want to see how many people. Okay. Cool.
This was going to be recorded, right?
Yeah, this is going to be recorded, so you can go back to see this.
Yeah.
We should say that this voice probably also, your voices are also going to be in this, just to clarify. Cool. So for those of you who don't worry, then you know what? Since only a couple of you are following along, I'll make sure that I stay and ask questions, but we can just speed along. Okay. So this, I don't like previews. They just get in my way because you have to redo the same code that you would in here for the preview, and all it does is just show you the canvas instead of what I like, which is more, it takes a little bit longer to load sometimes. Oh, we got some chat in here. Okay, cool. Following along. Sounds good. Sorry, guys. Talking sometimes drags my throat out. Okay. Why? Yeah, here we go. Why is this an Xcode app? Oh my goodness. Did we just straight up build an Xcode app? Don't worry, we can make this an iPhone app. We might have to make a new one. So Just don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. Okay, so I'm making a new project. Yeah, okay. I clicked on Mac OS. Bummer. Okay, so are you guys did anyone else make that mistake, or did everyone else make app, or did anyone else also make the Mac OS by accident? Okay, seems like it was just me, so that's good. Let's do party card and Swift UI, include tests, team none, continue. Great there. Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of drag and dropping. Show and finder. If you guys ever make this mistake, there's a little bit of a wonkiness with adding files. So you would want to copy items if needed, and you can create groups, not folder references. And then if I go in here, let's see, can I show and finder? Yeah, here we go. They're now in separate place. Okay. And that's all we did. So now we're good. Let's close this one. And we should be good in this one. So we got the deck, species, card, and app colors. New group from selection. Let's call this model. And this one can be new group from selection. Yeah. All right, now we should be able to build our Hello World iPhone app. It'll be on the iPod Touch 7th gen, but you can change that. And it will just say Hello World. Looks like nothing. I wonder what's going on. Okay, no biggie. You guys want to go Pro Max, Pro 12? Let's try that one. Maybe it'll look cool. My computer is taking off right now. I don't know about you guys. Oh my gosh, it's updating. It's a simulator. What is going on? Okay, cool. All right. It's loading. Let's just, I don't know what's going on with that. Let's just load, keep that there. We know what we're doing. Okay, here's something really fun. Oh, popped up. Yep, hello world. Thank you very much. Close you. So here's something really fun about Swift. The views are functional, right? Meaning like this is a function, right? You're coding a function, but that's putting something on the screen somewhere. And so let's start with that. So there's a library up here. If you hit the plus, I think, yeah. So this is code stubs, but in previous versions, it would show you views. It doesn't really show you that right now. I'm sure you could probably find some in there or get that functionality back, but there's a library of views that you can use. I'll just do a couple real quick. So there's image, and this is a string, and it's a string like something that you would put in the XC assets. So if you had a, oh, we don't have those colors. Okay, let's do that real quick. Color set, cyan. Oh, bummer. Don't worry. So the assets would be available in here somewhere. And we can actually drag a couple in. We're going to be doing that in a sec. I have some that I made, but you guys can Google and make something if you'd like. So there we go, fix that. And so where were we? We were in our view, and we were creating some images. And you can also do this. So there's an application. I'm just going to do command space SF symbols. And this is all of the symbols that are available to you to use. So let's just go with a random one and copy name. And I'll show you guys how to put in your code. So you can do system name, and that's a string, but that's a string that we copied from SF. And there we go. Then I'm going to load that in a sec, and you'll see that it's the pencil outline image. And then let's get rid of this, and I'll explain what that is in a sec. And then what else do we have? So we got image, text. You can do circles, or let's do rounded rectangle, because that's kind of like the style that people like. Corner radius, that would be a float, and let's just do 25 sounds fine. Just make sure it's not a, I'm just doing random things, okay? But we'll make something cool. So this is the idea. You're going to be writing a function name, writing the parameters, and it's going to be rendering onto the screen. Yeah, looks really gross, but it's really cool that you can do this. Like that's awesome, right? So don't mind this. We're just going to, we don't need these. This was just to explain. We're actually going to be doing something a little bit more complicated. So I'm just going to make a navigation view. Okay. So what this is any app that you've used that allows you to scroll, almost like a page, and it would have that back arrow, or sometimes it doesn't, and you can only swipe from the sides. That's a navigation view, and that's pretty much it's a one of the many kind of formats apps can take on is with a navigation. You can also do a tab view. You can also do a map, but maps can be embedded in views. So we're gonna go with the navigation view. We're gonna go with a let's just call this a card. We're just gonna do one card, and it's just gonna be nothing for now. So you'd think that it would be the card that we made before. Oh, it does look like it wants that. So let's just make this card view. It's looking for something, but we're not giving it. So we're gonna have to create it. So let's just take this and let's make a new file. It's not gonna be Swift. It's gonna be a Swift UI file, and we're gonna call this card view. And in here, we're going to have, let's just say, what did we want? So let's just do nothing special, and we'll make it more convenient as we go along. So let's go back. We need to do something special to our object. So remember when we created the deck? So we're going to be observing that deck now. So it's going to be an environmental object. Environment object, deck, of type deck, and that's all we have to do. But if you want to go, we're going to need to go, got the var. We're going to need to go one step up. So this content view is being called by something, the same way that this card view is, right? And that's being called by, if you're on the newest version of Xcode, it's being called by this app structure, right? So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make an observable object, var of type, or of called deck, of type deck, and we're going to need to call deck. This is the initializer. Oh, observable is not the right word. Observed. That's right. Okay. Sorry, it's just a handshake. Really, this needs to be observed, but the deck needs to be observable. Okay. Another one of those syntactical changes that makes it easier to understand. And down, remember when we had padding, right? That's called a view modifier. But since we're going to be, we need the view to have this deck as an environment object, meaning instead of being passed as, deck right here, you can do that for sure. It's just fun to show you this new feature, which is you can do an environment object, and then you can just do deck. And now, if you just declare it as an environment object, like we did right here, if you just do this, so if I want it in card view, all I have to do is this. Now it's in card. Boom, there we go. Okay. that's done, I'm just gonna close this. Little water break. Okay. 1 minute. I'm getting low bat. Got the low bat alert. Okay. Cool. So we've got our navigation view with our card view, and we're starting with our card view. And all we have is title. Text. And let's start messing with those cards. So we have within deck, we've got, if you want to do text manipulation, you can do this. So if you want to put something in text that's not text, like a variable, but like if it was a number, right? 1, you can do that, or you can just do 1, right? But if you want it to change, but since what we're doing is already a string, deck dot cards of 0 dot name, cool, and then what's in card? Let me see, forget. So we've got model. Let's see, card has name, type. Okay. And let's make this color. So foreground color dot, or we can do deck dot cards dot type. Now this is a property, this is a view modifier that changes the foreground color of this text to be the color that we associated with the type of that card. We've got species. So here's something that we can do with the species. If we make it conform, so this is a type, right? But you can make string into a protocol, because there is a string protocol. It just is like a type has to do a certain thing. But if you make an enum conform to string, then these can all be read as strings now that they're now that they conform to type string. So we can do another text and deck cards 0 dot type dot raw value. Maybe I don't need that. I think I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, not type. Species. Maybe raw value. Yep, I think that's what I needed. There we go. I just missed the type. Okay, and then card also has attack and defense. So this is where that nifty feature with the text manipulation can come in handy. Let's just do text and then do string, and then we can do this, and then out of this, and this would be, don't worry, we're not going to leave it as hard coded. We're not going to hard that code that 0. I'm going to show you how to iterate, but I just wanted to show you that we can get something up on the screen. So we have a card view, and the card view is just the text. And this is what we have so far. That was funky. I wonder why I did that. Oh no. Are we doing this right? I thought. Yeah, so we got the text, which is the name. We got the species raw value. Maybe it's because it's not white. Maybe it's foreground color. Black, And why is it opening up into this type? I'm just gonna remove that and see what's going on. All right, we run into a first bug, but don't worry, we'll get it. So maybe let's do this into a VStack, and that can solve our problems. Maybe that would work. So the way that you can manipulate views to be in a certain order is with VStack. If you want them to be vertical, if you want horizontal, HStack. If you want them stacked right on top of each other, ZStack. But we want VStack. Let's give that a go. There we go. Yep. So we've got axolotl of type axolotl and has attack and defense of 1 and 2. Sweet. Okay, so let's put this all on top of a, we got a question. Okay, Monish, the recording is going to be on the YouTube channel. And you'll get a message in the Discord about that. So we got the VStack, and we are building. Yeah, we only have 2 minutes left. So let's just go to the finished product since we only have 2 minutes, and I'll show you what I built and things that we didn't get to. We only didn't get to like 1 or 2 things, just building the views and adding images. So if I go to, oh my God, my computer is being so laggy right now. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted. Xcode. So let me build this. This is the app that has everything else that I wanted to do. So it's the things that I didn't get to add is Z stacks, scroll views, and gradients. But other than that, we kind of touched all the topics. Just letting it build here, and then we can wrap it up. Build succeeded. Thank you for those of you who are sticking around. All right, come on now. Another update on a virtual phone. Come on. It's cool, I promise, guys. There we go. Yep, can't tell if it's broken or it's loading. It's taking its sweet old time. Don't worry, after this, we can just end it, but stick around. All right, shouldn't be nothing. I'll just show you the code real quick. So what we didn't get to add is in the view. So this Z stack is the background, rounded rectangle, and has a certain frame. And then this V stack is the image, the text, the attack defense. It's kind of broken up like this. That's kind of the gist. So we've got the background of the card, the foreground of the card, and then this is the Z stack that's sandwiching them together. And then the content view, we've got a navigation view with a scroll view, which goes horizontal. And that scroll view has a horizontal stack with a for each of all the cards. So this is just one card. This for each is much like a for loop, but it's designed specifically for the views. And it's saying, okay, deck splards is what I named cards in this version. Splard, which is the type or splard is just the variable name, but it's what it is now. In splard card, which is the card the view. Yeah, still not showing up. I wonder what's going on. That is such a bummer. I wanted to show you guys. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is the background right here. This is the card. This is the rounded rectangle that I was telling you guys, and then it has a gradient inside of it. And the foreground is this text, this icon right here, this image. This is the type and subtype, and this is the description. We didn't get to add those for the sake of time, and we didn't get to add the images, but this is what the for each does. So it's horizontally in the H stack, and then it can also scroll horizontally, which is the scroll stack. And there's multiple cards, which is the for each. Okay. And this is a navigation bar title. And if you look at that, you'll see that right here. It's only allowed in navigation views, and it displays the title depending on the view that it is modifying. So that is it. Thank you guys for sticking around for an extra 5 minutes. I appreciate you guys, your patience in the beginning, and I hope you guys made something cool. And thank you for joining this crash course. Please enjoy the rest of Hack PCU.